Jai Hind and good evening. This is again Wing Commander Jaidev Desai talking to you on the new subject. आज मैं कोई करंट टॉपिक पे तो बोलने वाला नहीं हूँ. डिफरेंट टॉपिक जो अभी तक मैं बोल रहा हूँ. मैं मानता हूँ कि जो आपके जो फ्रेंड्स हैं, आपके जो सर्कल इन्फ्लुएंस में जो लोग आपके साथ हर रोज मिलते हैं, वो कोई न कोई टॉपिक पे, कोई न कोई सब्जेक्ट्स पे आपसे थोड़े आगे ट्रैवल किया हुआ होता है. सो लाइक दैट लास्ट टाइम व्हेन यू आपने देखा कि मैंने मेरे पिलानी फ्रेंड्स के साथ थोड़ी बातचीत किया था, उसमें काफी लोगों ने उनका काफी व्यू रखा अबाउट द नेशनल सिक्योरिटी, कश्मीर पॉलिसी एंड कश्मीर कंडीशंस एंड ऑल. और उसके पहले मैंने हमारे पिलानी फ्रेंड के साथ मिस्टर राजेंद्र राजदान के साथ बात किया था, बिकॉज ही हैड द फर्स्ट एक्सपीरियंस. मैं मानता हूं कि कोई भी सब्जेक्ट को जानने के लिए आपको द बेस्ट ऑफ द एक्सपर्ट की जरूरत नहीं होती है. आपसे जो कुछ ज्यादा जानते हैं उसके साथ आप बात करेंगे तो आपको भी काफी इजी रहेगा बात करने में, फ्रेंडली बात कर सकते हैं. आपको कुछ दूर जाने की जरूरत नहीं है और उससे आप काफी कुछ सीख रहे होते हैं. इसी श्रृंखला में मैं मेरा एक दूसरा पिलानी का फ्रेंड है, मिस्टर राम सुब्रमण्यम. वेरी लविंगली वी कॉल हिम रामू. And like Rajendra Rajdan and other friends which you saw, he also is a part of our 14 idiots gang. So we did engineering together, and like many of us, he traveled to USA to find a better avenue and better life. And he's been very successful engineer and things like that. So we will be talking about, because he has traveled much more than me in terms of religion and practicing Sanatan Dharma as such. He is a devotee of Chinmay Mission. And we will be talking about that aspect with him. क्योंकि मैंने बताया ऐसे आपको कि मेरे से वो ज्यादा जानते हैं, तो मैं उनसे थोड़ा सीखने का ट्राई करूंगा और आप होपफुली हमारे डायलॉग से आप भी थोड़ा कुछ सीखेंगे. तो लाइक फॉर एग्जांपल लाइक मेरे पहले वीडियो की तरह, आई होप दैट यू लाइक दैट माय वीडियो आल्सो, एंड इफ यू लाइक काइंडली डू लाइक, शेयर एंड सब्सक्राइब, एंड प्लीज टेल योर फ्रेंड्स एंड फैमिली टू सब्सक्राइब माय चैनल. थैंक यू वेरी मच. Ramu, welcome to my channel, Jaidev Desai.
So, thank you, Jaidev. So, this beneficial of information exchange is mutual. As we say in our Sanskriti, it is parasparam bhavyanta. So, I get some information from you. I try to give some information, so we all mutually benefit, and hopefully that will make our lives better, get a different perspective of things.
You see, Ramu, it is a dialogue like Gita is a Krishna and Arjun. He you the Krishna, me the Arjun, trying to learn something from him.
No. It's both ways. It's both ways.
Yeah, I agree. Okay. That is the philosophy of our Sanatan Dharma. I believe that every book is written in the form of dialogue between teacher and taught.
Correct. Many of the Upanishads are dialogues between the student and the teacher. And the student in our religion, in Sanatan Dharma, the student is fully empowered to ask questions and doubts. Okay, not with a sense of ego, but in humility. Students should ask questions to clarify their doubts. Otherwise, and it is good. For example, in Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna asks so many questions to Lord Krishna. If he did not ask that, I could not have thought those questions. So it is good that he asked the questions on my behalf. You can say that, and got a lot of information coming from there.
Yes, I'm very clear on it. If I am taking some training, I say very clearly, if you have a question, if the class does not have any question, that means only two things. Either they've understood everything and I'm such a beautiful teacher, which I'm not, I'm very sure of it. Or second thing, they have not understood anything. I'm a very bad teacher. So they ask questions, that means that something has gone into their mind and they try to understand something. That's the way I look at it.
You're absolutely right. So either they were very interested and they participate and ask questions, which is good for the teacher also. And the students, and they don't ask any questions, they knew it all and you're a good teacher, or they were just not interested and they did not pay any attention and nothing happened there, which is not good either.
Ramu, after we left Pilani, you went to USA and you did work in many companies, technology company in a senior, I mean, right from junior to senior position, you reach senior position, management position, all. Can you tell us something about your journey in USA?
So I came to USA in 1979 to do my master's in electrical engineering. I graduated in 1918, January 1981. I started working as a design engineer at National Semiconductor. It was the largest semiconductor company at that time. And it was an interesting, eye-opening exercise for me, coming from a very different country, work culture, and so on. But the people were very nice. They were accommodative. And we were less than 5 Indians at that time. And our legal secretary was a lady by the name of Kala Iyer. And I admire her for that. Even when I met her last weekend, I said, I admire you for one thing. In 1981, she used to come every day dressed in a sari to work. And she said, okay, this is my culture, my heritage, I'll keep it. And the best thing about Americans is they all respected it. She can come in that, in a sari. And then she was as a legal secretary, a top corporate position, and we judge her by the work that she do. So that is one thing I learned about America, is that since it's a corporate world, it is survival of the fittest. It is people will judge you by what you can contribute and what you can do for the company. How well you dress, all those things, what you are is a little secondary. And of course, there is a elimination difference of culture, accent, all those things are there, but those are secondary in face of the work that you can do. So that is here. And over the course of time, with economic cycles up and down, companies changing fortunes and so on, I worked at several companies, of 9 companies. Last I worked was at Lockheed Martin, where I had an interesting career experience working in spacecraft communications, and also at all the other good things like missile launching communications and so on. It was an interesting experience for me. And then I worked at Raytheon, and even I retired about 5 years back to take care of my mother and father-in-law at home, because it was they needed a lot more attention, and it was time for me to make a transition, and I did the transition there. So that's when I retired. But instead of being idle, I was actively participating in Chinmay Mission before, and I also started participating on other community matters. And let me say this: each one is a good learning experience, which something you learn from that and you carry forward. That it enriches your life and you carry forward.
Yes,
So that is in a nutshell about my career in the US. It has been a wonderful experience, traveling to different parts of the world, to Europe, to South America, to other places, to many times to India. So overall, it has been I'm very fortunate. I had a great life so far.
Yes, Ramu, taking from what you said, the two things I would like to say. First of all, about the lady, Miss Iyer, which you talked about, wears sari, and very proudly saying that my culture. One observation I've made is basically the NRIs, the outside India people who stay, they are more religious than we Indians who are in India. You are more grounded to the Sanskriti than what we are. That's the way one thing which my observation is. Is it? Am I right?
You may be right. What happens is the distance makes the heart fonder. So when somebody is further off, right? So then, you feel, okay, you want to be there. And I've noticed the same thing when many NRIs who moved from here, when they went to India, after some time, they crave for something American. They crave for the American food, burgers, vegetarian burgers, pizzas,
Old
pasta,
habits, yes.
and so on. So it is that part is there. Distance make the heart grow fonder. That part there. And other thing is now you want to maintain root connections to your roots. So a big plus point is that in the USA, the physical infrastructure is very good. You're not struggling for day-to-day water supply, electricity, and so on and so forth. Communication and transport is easier. So this kind of frees up your time to devote time to other cultural activities. And in fact, I have to say this, my daughter learned Bharatanatyam Arangetram, and she did her Arangetram, that is the graduation ceremony and all that. And she went and met some of her cousins in India. Those guys had no clue and they never heard that. And I can kind of see why that is, because transport within the city, within India itself takes a long time. The traffic takes a long time. You have to devote a lot of energy to do that. So unless something is very immediately accessible in the neighborhood, which may or may not happen, so that opportunity kind of decreases. So that is that's a big part there.
No, Ramu, what you say, maybe availability of the facility next door, taking less, putting less effort to reach there and all. That may be one part, but I've got different take. But let's not get into that now, because otherwise, our whole time we'll get into that type of discussion. Let's come back to Swami Chimnanand and things like that. You see, like if you remember, Swami Chimnanand used to come to Pilani also. He was a visiting professor of Pilani. And every 6 months, he used to come for about a week or so. And all of us, you, me, and our group, and everybody used to attend his lectures. I mean, our auditorium of 2000 plus could be accommodated auditorium. And the auditorium, the only time the auditorium used to be full was movie, apna Saturday movie, and Swami Chimnanand lecture. Am I right?
Yes, you're right.
And the way he used to explain, I mean, he himself was an engineer. I think Swami Chimnanand himself was an engineer.
No, he was a journalist.
Okay, fine. Because he used to give us a lecture. I mean, in that lecture, he used to explain all these mythical events, which is very popular event, like Ganga Avatar and all, very scientifically to us. And he used to say to us, you are a science student, you are an engineering student, so you must be asking question, why, what, when, all the question you keep asking, you must ask questions. He used to encourage us to ask questions and just explain. Like, before I ask you a thing, I would like to say one thing. It's like, I very vividly remember that. He said, why do we call the Almighty Om? I think like when you say your algebra, let that be X. So why can't you let the God be X? Why Om? It is like Om, and let God be Om. But why not X? Why not X, but why Om? Then he explained that when you say X, nothing happens to your body. But when you say Om, sound comes from Nabi. And when you keep saying Om, the whole system gets cleansed. So that is why it is not X, but it is Om. But there is no difference that way. Because you don't know who that Almighty is. You say Om. So like that, many incidents he explained to us and told to us, which I remember very well. And that is how I was attracted to him. And I'm sure that is the beginning of your thing, or behind your mind. That would have also attracted you to join Swami Sanatan Mission, am I right?
Yes, that is very true. And one other important thing that he said is, it is that not our scriptures are something to be read like some comics or some mystery book or something, but it is the knowledge from there can be used in your day-to-day life to solve your problems, to help to develop your mental strength, and so on. And that is something that stuck to me when he gave a discourse on all those scriptures. He taught Bhajagovindam so well, yes, and yes, other scriptures. Gita, and elaborated from the Gita. Gita was his favorite, and in fact, the first spiritual book on which he wrote a commentary. By the way, he has authored over 53 books, and all written by hand. There was no word processing, Microsoft Word or word processing, yes, at that time. Everything was written by hand, edited and done. It's an amazing work for a person to write 53 books. Okay. So anyway, that is here. And here, when my daughter was 5 years old and she was ready to join kindergarten, I came to know about Chinmay Mission. And I went there and enrolled, and they had a wonderful Bal Vihar program for the children from all the way from kindergarten till 12th grade or 12th class, as 12th grade as called in the USA, 12th class. They had a very structured curriculum to go, and they taught the children nice in a story format, like and also teachers used to tell about our mythology, about our Ramayana, about Bal Vihar, teach them short slokams to chant short, along with some meaning at a child level that they can understand, not make it overwhelming. Also to light a lamp, to fold your hands in prayers, respect elders, instill these kinds of values in them. to respect others, offer seat to elders when elders come. So these kind of values to them. And best part is they had no tests or no quizzes. So there was no stress of going to the class.
Not even
Except it used
surprise
to be
quiz. Not even surprise quiz like what is there.
yeah, so there was a lot of coloring and storytelling and so on. And as they graduated, the books got to a higher level, like 7th, 8th grade is Mahabharata. So what you learn from Mahabharata at each level, it is not just, don't read it just as a story. Attachment of Dhritarashtra to his sons
Son.
and what caused that problem. And then how Yudhishthira got into gambling. In the process of gambling, how much, if you don't control yourself, how you can lose everything. Kunti losing her modesty, and how the Lord came to protect her when she asked for the Lord to. Draupadi, sorry, yeah, Draupadi, so those kinds of things. And then in 10th, 11th, 12th, they teach them Bhagavad Gita, 6 chapters, 18 chapters. It has 6 chapters at a time at each grade level, and they drill into that and say, okay, how do you use it? And 12th grade in the USA, 12th grade is when after that students apply for college. You get college admission results. Sometimes it's very disappointing, and how to handle those disappointments. And it is not going to be the first level of disappointment. Life will also challenge you in other ways.
Absolutely.
So that was a great thing. And the 13th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita has got about 20 values that you should practice. And they tell them in a nice way about each one of them. Write them down, and follow them as much as you can. So this whole structure curriculum attracted me. And while the best part is, while the students were in the class, for adults there were discourses by Swamiji, who was here at that time. He was doing Bhagavad Gita, but they might take a different topic like Atma Bodha, Tattva Bodha, different thing. So adults were also engaged, not involved in standing around and not having gossip talk or
Lacha in our language, Lacha session.
Right. So you were constructively engaged. So, and I joined the mission and as a volunteer many years back, and I help out in the bookstore. I manage the bookstore there, ordering supplies, inventory, finances, and so on. And there are, of course, many volunteers. It's a completely voluntary organization. Nobody is getting paid. So it's a completely voluntary organization. And best part is it's also very transparent. And so those are some of the very positive aspects that I've found. And you could ask questions, to clarify your doubts, whatever doubts you have as you slowly come along. So that is my attraction to Chinmay Mission. And in fact, I have to say that I have benefited, my family, we have benefited a lot from being a part of the mission.
So what you said, right, and I'm sure that type of facilities or the syllabus or whatever you call it is available even in India in the all the branches of Chinmay Mission in India. I'm sure of that. And I'm in Ahmedabad also, we have it. Let me go and have a look at it. And I'm sure definitely I will visit it and see. And I request my users, viewers, also, if nearby Chinmay Mission is there, you also could explore what can be done and what you can learn out of it. And Ramu, what you say is right. See, like even in India also now, like in our times it was there, but after in between all this religious texts and everything, religious teaching was slightly discontinued, like my daughter and my time and all. But my grandson right now is about 8 or 9 years old. So when he was upper KG and first standard and all, he could recite this Gayatri Mantra, Aarti and all those things and all. So that type of teaching has started in the school. And now in many of the states in India, they have said that they are going to start teaching of Gita. And like what you said, that Gita or any other text of ours are basically teaches, it is not only like reading and reciting certain things and all, but gives the lesson of the life. Like we talk about Ramayana, talk about Mahabharata, talk about Gita and all. So it gives a lesson of your life. Am I right?
Yes, that is very correct. In fact, when Swami Tejomayananda was here, he had a topic called Ramayana for you and me. And we were all wondering, okay, what is Swamiji going to teach, and we knew that he is a very learned person and he'll have something that he can teach us. And in the first discourse lecture he started, all of you, I assume, know Ramayana very well. But what is it about Ramayana for you and me? And one of the things that I took away, there are many things. One of the things is when Dasaratha gave Kaikeyi two boons, she was very smart. She didn't use it right away and said, I want a diamond necklace, or I want this or that. She said, okay, I'll keep it. And how she used it at the right time. So he said this is a very important lesson for, of course, she used it for maybe for the wrong reasons. We can discuss about it,
Instigated by mantra. Instigated by mantra. She didn't want to use it. She didn't want to use it, but instigated by mantra.
Right. But she did not use it right away for some petty things,
Yeah.
Okay. So that is a very important lesson. Many times we get opportunities, we should not squander it away in something petty. Use it for something good, constructive, and something big. So there are takeaways like that we can use it in our day-to-day life.
Rabu, let's start with a basic thing. That you see, like we say our Hindu Dharma. Hindu Dharma. Actually, I would like to say Sanatan Dharma. Am I right?
Correct.
There's nothing called Hindu Dharma. It's basically Sanatan Dharma. Now,
it is Sanatan Dharma.
Yeah. So before I go, why it's called Sanatan Dharma? How old it is, and why it is called Sanatan Dharma? And where this Hindu word came in play?
Okay, Sanatana means eternal. So that means it is eternal Dharma. It will be there as long as the human beings are there on this earth. It will always be there in that form. So that is what is Sanatana Dharma. The word Dharma, it's according to Swami Chinmay, it is very hard to exactly translate it. The Sanskrit root word for it is dhr, which means to hold or support. Therefore, Dharma means that which holds or support on existence of a thing. And dharma could be different for different things. For example, dharma of a lion is to eat meat. If you feed it vegetables, it is not going to be nourished. So dharma for a tree is something different. Similarly, dharma for a human being. So the essential nature of the human being compared to all other living beings, human being is intellect. We have the buddhi. We are endowed with that buddhi, and using that buddhi, we can become divine. The capacity to become divine, to think, to analyze, and become divine. This nature of human being is different from all other living beings. It is something that we should very important to know and to practice it. That is dharma. The word Hindu, that is the other part that you mentioned, is the word Hindu is never mentioned in any of our scriptures or text anywhere. It is Sanatana, and this was the region around the Sindhu River region in the present part of, I think, the region. The river is not there anymore, but Indus River. It is a kind of Indus River, but it is called as Indus River now. That area of northwestern part of India and parts of Pakistan. And so when the Persian invaders came, they referred to the people living in that region of the Indus River or Sindhu River. That Sindhu River is what our scripture says, Sindhu River, as Hindus. Persian language, at least at that time, I don't know now, didn't have the word sir. Sir. So they, instead of sir, they said her, and said instead of Sindhu, it became Hindu. And that's how the word has been continuing all along for many years, for thousands of years. And today, even we call ourselves as Hindus. It's Hinduism. But our scriptures, our text never say the word Hindu anywhere. So it is Sanatana Dharma.
So the way I understand what you say, Dharma is basically the way of living life more scientifically, taking care of everything, including the Dharma. The way I understand is a duty. That is why we say, which I mean, we don't know what is right, what is wrong, and we say the Dharma Sankat mein main phas gaya. Isn't it? So it is, yes. Dharma is basically more of a duty, more of a righteous way of doing things, whether it is environment or whether me as a father or somebody as mother or as a friend or the employee or the employer. What is my right way of performing my duty? So that is what the dharma is. And
It's the
Sanatan Dharma,
righteous way of living.
yeah.
Right.
And Sanatan Dharma basically by various texts and various ways is telling us how to do it. Am I right? That's the way if I understand.
Right. It's a guiding principle. Inherently, we know how to live. And we right from childhood, if you leave a child as is, right, it'll try to be honest. Children never lie. They will be honest about it. They'll be very factual about it. So that's a way. And even when adults, when we don't speak the truth, we feel uncomfortable about it. We sometimes later on we regret it and so on and so forth. But or we do something bad, we regret it. So this is something that excuse me, that guides us on proper way of living with minimal self-affliction.
And the way I also understand is there are in the Sanatan Dharma, there is not only one way of doing things. For example, if you understand something intellectually, like in a Gnan mark, tell me if I'm wrong, then you understand, and because you understand it intellectually, you will do that way correctly. But if you don't understand that, that's called bhakti mark. There are rules laid down that if you don't do it, Bhagwan naraj ho jayega. Like example, the way I remember the example given by Swami Chimnand at that time, that why do we have the Surya Namaskar going to the nearby river, do dubki lagao, and then Surya ko argat dena hota hai. Why it is like this? Because at that time there was no water coming into the household. So, and people are lazy to take bath. So it was said, okay, you have to do this. So the people used to go there, take bath, give the Surya give the Surya arg, and then come back. That is how the whole thing was developed. So that also Bhakti Marg or the this type of diktat also is basically done so that normal people who do not understand intellectually can be directed or forced to live life more scientifically. Am I right?
Correct. Bhakti Marg is a way of devotion. Initially, you have to inculcate some devotion, and with Shraddha, not just blind devotion, with Shraddha, with some faith as to why you have to do it and why it is good to do it. Now, Naraj ho jayega and things like that we say here. I mean, I tried generally not to use such things with my children or with anyone. Is that, you don't want to portray anything. It is
Yes, but
good for you.
that is why it is meant the way I look. I didn't mean to tell people that way, but that's the way it is
that
meant.
is true. I even now today, the other day when I went to the temple, the parents were telling the children how God will punish the child, but those are not the right. That's not the right way to teach someone, to a child, to a 5-year-old child, how God will punish you and so on like that.
Hey, my objection is that when they say na, beta so jo police aa jayegi. अरे यार वो पुलिस वाले को यूनिफॉर्म वाले को क्यों बदनाम कर रहे हो यार, क्यों डरा रहे हो बंदे को?
So it is for your own good if you do it. You can have some positive reinforcements. In fact, that is one thing good about American culture that I see with my children, is that the schools always had a positive reinforcements to say, okay, to motivate them to do the right thing. So that is, yes. Of course, as adults, there are negative reinforcements as well, like cops giving you traffic tickets or putting you in jail and so on. That's different. But for children, it has to be a positive reinforcement and nudge them into the correct path.
Now tell me, like when we say Sanatan Dharma, what you and me are following for that basically tells you how to do things rightly and more scientifically, and that's why we call it Dharma. But now English name is religion. Now, like Christianity is a religion, Islam is a religion. Now, what is the difference between religion and Dharma? Can Dharma be called religion?
See, Dharma, as I mentioned before, it is basically a law of being. That is something new. Religion is something as a prescription of, say, of duties to perform in some way, in some prescribed way. So that is what religion is. So, so it's certain prescriptions. For example, how to do puja, how to light the lamp, how to what all things that you need for the puja, what to chant and what sequence you do and so on. Those forms the religious aspect of it, where you can say the physical aspect of doing things, Of course, along with it, you have your mind has to be there, your intellect has to be there, and so on. But the prescribed process of performing that is called as a religion. You worship different images of God like Ganesha, Shiva, Vishnu, Parvati, and so on. So that is the religious part of it. Then there is a philosophy part of it also, which is as you refer to it as a jnana marg, so which gives the reasoning behind all these things. Only after I joined Chinmay Mission and asking the questions to the Pandit there, who's our Pandit is very knowledgeable. He used to tell, okay, why we do things in a certain way, what is it in a certain way, and so on. There's a reason for all of this to be done. Agama Shastras, in fact, that's what is referred to in our Vedas as Agama Shastras, where the elaborate rituals are prescribed, how to do yajna, how to do the yajna kund, how to set it up, and so on, and in what direction of different people should sit and do it, a prescribed scientific way of doing things. So that is, to me, that's the religious part of it, and it is good to explain every time, what is it that we are doing and why we are doing, what is the benefit that we are going to get out of it. In fact, many times when I go to the temple and I tell the priest, before you do archana or anything, to explain for 1 minute what is it that we are doing, why we are doing, and what benefit we are going to get out of it. That explanation, forms will make a big difference and inculcate devotion in the hearts of devotees. That is my strong belief.
I agree with you. But what you say that a religious procedure, more of a set of procedures to perform particular thing. Now, with all this, that religious procedure and what on philosophy you are talking about is just one part of the Sanatan Dharma. It is not the complete Dharma. So the way I look at it, translation, Hindi translation of or Sanskrit translation of religion is definitely not Dharma. Dharma is much more elaborate thing than religion. I mean, what I say is right? And in that case, Christianity is a religion, Islam is religion, but Sanatan Dharma is not a religion. Part of the Sanatan Dharma, offshoot of Sanatan Dharma, like maybe Arya Samaj or maybe a Swaminarayan thing and all, they could be called religion. That is a panth. I'm coming that religion, the translation religion could be panth, not dharma. Am I right?
Yeah, correct. Religion is it's a path that you take. It's a okay. Some people say that they will worship only Ganesha, or they will worship only Vishnu or Parvati. And so that is the part that you take. You can choose which way you want to do. That is that. But dharma is something much broader. It is applies to your entire life, your interaction with your family, with your community, your work, and so on. So that is all part of your dharma that you follow.
So there's a difference between panth and dharma. That's what I think you also say the
correct.
same.
Panth is a pathway that you take. Panth is one pathway that you
So the
take. But dharma is the larger scope.
Yeah, so correct translation of religion is panth, not dharma.
You can say that. You can, But the pathway, the path that you take, your belief, your belief system towards a particular deity or towards any god or any form that you take, that is your pathway.
Now, there are many people say, and I believe there is a scientific study also has proven that if you recite Sanskrit shlokas every day, then your brain power, memory power, and intellect increases. How true it is, and what do you have to say about it?
So first thing is that when you chant, it's good that you chant. Try to understand what you're chanting. Okay, so most of these chantings are in Sanskrit. Okay, so if you don't want to learn Sanskrit as a full language, it's good if you can learn. I'm currently enrolled in a Sanskrit class and I'm learning a lot of the basics. So learn the meaning of it in some way. There are today, thanks to internet, a lot of information is available. Of course, sometimes it's not always right. That's what I found out recently. But information is available, and try to understand the meaning. When you understand the meaning of it and you chant with that, your devotion will increase, your concentration will increase, and the benefits that you accrue from it will be better. Excuse me. So that is the first step of chant. Now, chanting or the next step is, or they say is meditation, is helpful in the sense it helps you to focus your mind. In fact, that is one reason why we have one image that we choose to keep, and you focus on that image, is to let your mind focus. There's a saying in Tamil, Manasur Korangan. That means mind is like a monkey, always moving around, dancing around, never being stable at one point. And it is I find it to be very true for me. So to help your mind focus on it, so that's why you sit down for some time in a nice, convenient place, good ambience, proper way to sit, and after that, chant or meditation. In fact, there's a lot of research nowadays into meditation. It is kind of becoming a fashion in some way to say that, okay, I sit and meditate, and there is Sudarshana Kriya, so many aspects to the meditation, and people say, okay, it benefits the non. At least what for a moment, your conscious mind is at rest, and somehow the subconscious thoughts also go away, and that gives your mind to rest in a way. Mind also rests when you're in deep sleep, but at that time there is no awareness. Here there is awareness that you are there, and at the same time your mind is free of all thoughts, so it gives your mind to rest, collect your thought, collects it's reorganize itself. I don't know what happens. Mind is amazingly complex. So there's a lot of research that is there, and it's benefit. And I find it beneficial, to sit down for some time, chant whatever slokams that I want for the day, and do that. So you choose your time, you choose your convenient point, you choose that and do that.
I will take some guidance from you for myself, and that we'll talk separately on the subject. But Ramu, coming to that, like it is said that wherever India has lowered that guard against the Sanskriti, or the Sanskriti or the Sanatan Dharmas were slightly down, went down, we had slightly lower level of growth or security, people attacking us, and all those things happen. Once I think Adi Sankaracharya observed all this, and to again to revive the whole Sanskriti and the whole Indian generation at that time, he traveled all four corners of the India and all. Can you throw some light of why and what did he do?
Adi Shankaracharya, I mean, there are thick books written about him. Shankara, the missionary, is one of the better books that I've read about partially. So at a time when in the 8th century, his life period was 780 to 812 AD. That is what is estimated to be. And at that time, Buddhism was kind of taking over India in a big way. And he found that it is not complete philosophy and religion. So he, after that, preached Advaita Vedanta. He was born in Kerala. From there, I don't know how he went to the banks of Narmada to find his teacher Gaudapada, and to the banks of Narmada. You remember that from Kerala to Narmada at that time in 8th century, what India was at that time, And then he wrote his commentary on Vishnu Sahasranama and then on Chandogya Upanishad. After that, he went to Banaras and had a lot of discussions there with the scholars there. Then he went to Badrinath and Kedarnath. He traveled on foot, again, I'll repeat, emphasize on foot, 4 times through the length and breadth of India. And he established 4 mutts at Badrinath in the north, Puri in the east, Sringeri in the south, and Dwaraka in the west. And in fact, I don't remember now, and he said each one of these centers, he said, should teach different, the 4 Vedas. He assigned one Veda to each one of them and do that. And he wrote, I don't know how in a span of 32 years, he wrote commentary on 10 Upanishads. They are called as, because he wrote commentary on 10 Upanishads, they are called as major Upanishads. There are estimated to be totally about 210 or plus Upanishads. Some are still being discovered differently. But these 10 are considered as major because he wrote commentary on them. luckily for us, for example, last year we were studying Kathopanishad, that his commentary in Sanskrit with English and Hindi translation is available from Gita Press in Gorakhpur.
Gita Press done wonderfully well in keeping this.
Correct, but you're right. The only thing is that I have a lot of difficulty. I tried to get many books from them for a bookstore here. It's hard to communicate with them. It'll be nice if somebody can communicate nicely and do that. So, but my father has got a book on Devi Mahatmyam or Chandi Pat. That's as it is called in the north. That entire book, he got it from Gita Press, and it has got all meanings also in there. So Gita Press has got a lot of this information there. They have Valmiki Ramayana with English translation and Hindi translation, and Tulsi Ramayana also in the same way. So they have they are a very good rich source of knowledge. So he wrote on 10, coming back to Adi Shankaracharya, and he has got hundreds of poetic compositions. For starting with Bhaja Govindam, for simplest one, his commentary on Tattva Bodha, Atma Bodha, and so on, all the way to his compositions on Tattva Bodha, Atma Bodha, and other writings that he has done. And recently, I had the opportunity to listen to Sivananda Lahiri, where he elaborates on the glory of Lord Shiva. Lahiri is waves. Ananda Lahiri, where how nicely his titled is, waves of bliss come to you. Our teacher explained, Swami Ishwarananda explained, Sukha is an opposite Dukkha, but Ananda has no opposite. Waves of bliss come to you at a given time. You cannot escape that happiness coming to you. That's what you should experience after studying this. So what a great
good meaning you said that Sukha has got opposite Dukkha. Anand has got no opposite of it.
Correct.
I mean,
so Anand is complete bliss.
No, you are right. So Ramu, I mean, a lot of things could. Yeah, okay, carry on. Sorry.
So it was really, and so his philosophy was Advaita Vedanta. So whether there's no duality at all, Brahman and Jivan are one and the same. Jiva Brahma Aikya, that is his main line. But later on, coming to the 12th, 13th century, Ramanujacharya said this Advaita Vedanta, maybe according to Swami Chinmayananda, maybe at that time, Advaita Vedanta was a little too hard to grasp. It's hard to, for example, the Tattvam Asi, it's a short Mahavakya from Upanishad. To explain Tattvam Asi, Adi Shankaracharya has elaborately discussed using just logic. Okay, he never used any force or anything with anyone, just logic and discussions. He has written elaborately about what is the meaning, that how you are also, how any living being or anyone with intellectual, how you are also Brahman. You are also the same Brahman as the creator that is there. And now you may be wondering, how come I am Brahman? And using assertion and negation logic, he proves that. It's very interesting to read. That, I mean, I'm still learning. I'm not there, but it is still on a very eye-opening studies. So Adi Shankara did all this. Adi Shankara conquered all this just with discussions and logic. He never used any force, anything at any time. No, in a short span of 32 years.
But that is what in Sanatan Dharma says. There is no force. You don't force somebody to convert. You don't force somebody to accept your way of living. It's only logic by debate. And that also was there, that in a debate, if you lose the debate, no, then the condition was that, okay, who will be the judge? I mean, Adi Shankaracharya, there's a very famous, that story is there, if you can narrate that story. That we believe in debate and argument, no force applied for anything. Yeah.
Correct. He debated with sage Totakacharya. And he gave, after that, he opposed him. So Totakacharya opposed him in any ways, and he appointed Totakacharya's wife as a judge. And what she did is she placed garlands on both of them. And she said, okay, I will, looking at the state of the garlands, I will judge how it is and listening to them. And she found after a few days of the discussion that the garland mala on Totakacharya was withering away, going away, while that on Adi Shankaracharya stayed intact. and his way of explanation, logic, is absolutely correct. And so she said that he is the, what to say, the winner in the debate, or he is more convincing. But at the time, he didn't become, he didn't say, okay, take Kundak on Totakacharya. He did not have that attitude of revenge or anything like that. He made him and like his disciple, and treated him with full respect. And he composed a song, Totakashtakam, about him, how was showing about his knowledge. So he was such a great person.
It was a respect
That
for each
magnanimity,
other. Yeah.
that
Respect for,
magnanimity is a big part of our Sanatana Dharma.
respect for each other, respect for the knowledge, respect for the person as a human being, because we feel that each one of us part ansh of the Brahman. So that is what we feel. And now the way I look at it, after so many of attack and a lot of things that happen in our Indian history, there's a need to revive the Sanatan Dharma once again for the benefit or for the good thing of the country. That's what I feel. I think that, but the days are changing, the things are changing. The way it is being changed, many people are objecting, many people may not like it. But there is a definitely need to change and inculcate all this in our day-to-day life and teach to our children. And the government has started, like many of the states, which I said, that Gita is now going to be taught in the school, and a lot of things are happening. We as parents also have got certain responsibility to take the children in that path and tell them the right knowledge, give them the right knowledge. Find a guru, like example, for me, you may be my guru tomorrow, today onwards. So anyhow, so we'll talk about separately and all. And Ramu, thank you very much. And I'm sure we can find some topic like for a Gita, this Gita Sar. No, I mean that many interpretation is there. Many people say many things. But what is your view of? We can have one session on that, and many more sessions we can plan and develop. Maybe once in month, once in 2 months, we can have a session. Ramu, thank you very much. Yeah, sorry.
You are absolutely right. Sanatana Dharma, that's our culture, our heritage. It is something that is to be revived. And it is, if you see, when I went to Bali, Indonesia, that's a Hindu region of Indonesia. People there, right from the many our tour guide, many hotel staff that we talked about, they all were very curious to know about our Indian heritage culture, and they feel that they are missing this connection with India. In fact, I was very surprised that on many mobile, the ringtone there was Gayatri Mantra. I was really taken aback. And if you come out of the Bali airport, the statue there is of Gadotkacha, who's protecting the airspace, and he from Mahabharata script. That is how, it's all there in there. Same thing if you go to Indonesia, in Thailand, if you go to Angkor Wat, the same Vishnu temple, how they have the Vasuki churning of the Milky Ocean to take to get the elixir, to get the Amritam, using the snake Vasuki. All that is there. It is Thailand, Bangkok airport, it's called a Suvarna Bhumi airport. It has that. Yeah, same thing is there in Cambodia. There are so many places. They all are revel our culture. And if you see, right, some of the aspects are coming into America also. Like, for example, yoga is taking in a big way, meditation. Now I'm very happy.
Ayurveda coming in.
No, Hatha yoga, physical exercise. Hatha yoga, meditation is coming in. Vegetarian is coming in a big way. Now they are finding out, okay, eating meat is not that great after all that. In fact, that was a big part. Ahimsa is a big part of our culture. Not to kill animals. So, yes, I'm very happy. In fact, I was happy. 9th, 10th, 11th, we had to study two chapters of Bhagavad Gita, memorize it, and in our board exam, we had the shlokas were given, and we had to write commentary on it. I'm happy that it is coming back in a big way. And I may mention Sri E. Sridharan, who was the managing director and who successfully executed Konkan Railway, Delhi Metro.
Metro Man, known as Metro Man.
He is called as a Metro Man. Okay. How, when he took over as MD, he gave a copy of Bhagavad Gita to all the employees at DMRC. and inculcated those values and that work culture. I hope that is still continuing. He is retired and gone, but I hope it is still there.
Even Dr. Abdul Kalam used to recite a lot of shloka and she used to explain all this very well.
Correct.
Because like Ramu, what you said, right, this basically is a land of Bharat Varsh when you talk about it, from Indonesia to Afghanistan. The whole thing was people who was following Sanatan Dharma. And because of various things, in India, basically is a Hindu, the source of all things that we have forgotten. And hopefully now thing is coming up, things are changing, and things will be better. Ramu, thank you very much, and I appreciate the time taken off. And
thank you so much.
And my friends, my viewers, I hope you have liked this. It was not a very what you call moral lecture giving or trying to tell you the hi-fi things. In day-to-day life, day-to-day practice, what we do, how we can understand our own culture, our own Sanskriti, our own religion, and what is the benefit of it, you and me can get out of it. So that is what I just wanted to highlight. My friend Rama Subramaniam has rightly said so, that while he was in USA doing the thing, he started in this path. His daughter and the children also successfully understood all this, and he and his family got benefited. And I'm sure that is never too late to start this. If, like me, I am going to take his advice and to start in my family, and you also do it in your family. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day. Good night. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe my channel. Thank you, Ramu. God bless.
Thank you, Jaidev.